Okay, so let's talk about the remaining various testings. Okay, so the next one is acceptance testing. Okay, in the acceptance testing, so this is like this is also a high level term. Okay, the specific term is UAT, user acceptance testing. So what what UAT has is like they have their own team actually, UAT team. Okay, user acceptance testing, and what they do is like they will actually do the testing based on customer specified requirements. Okay, it's based on the customer. So sometimes customers send the requirements. Okay, saying that, hey, you know what, this is a new feature, and can you implement it? And once it gets reviewed, once the business review it, and if it's appropriate, then they put into this, and they do it UAT, user acceptance testing. Okay, so what they exactly do here is they will verify that verify the system meets the customer specified requirements. Okay, so that is called acceptance testing. Okay, so here, so they will be testing, so they will be having different, so they will be having their own test cases. They will be having their own way of doing work, and they will be maybe they will have the similar business requirement documents, whatever the document you have, similar one may not be always same, because this is little bit, it's a customer, based requirement, so they'll be having their different way of doing the thing, okay, doing the work. So that's what it's called acceptance testing. Okay, so this type of testing is done to verify the system meets the customer specified requirements. Okay, whatever the customer says, does it does it meet the customer specified requirements or not? If not, then there will open defects. Okay, so that is called acceptance testing. Okay, so let's move to the next one. So we have this performance testing. Okay, this performance testing is classified into two types, that is load testing and stress testing. Okay, so this is okay, so this is subdivided into two, load testing and stress testing. Okay, that's what it's called, performance testing. Okay, so let's before going to this performance testing, let's have some idea on why do we actually require this performance testing. Okay, so what's the use and what's the importance of this performance testing? So far we were actually looking on the UI part, right? We were just looking into the functionalities, what are the various functionalities here. Okay, so but here we just say here this is performance testing is also called as non-functional requirement or non-functional testing. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, let's take an example here. Okay, let's say Amazon.com. Okay, we'll just take it an example, Amazon.com, and they have their own. Okay, let's say they bought a server. They bought a server because whatever you're trying to access, right? Whatever you're trying to access, it has to go to the particular server, right? It goes to a particular server, fetches the information, and displays on your web page, right? That's how you are able to see. How you are able to see the images, graphics, videos. It's all stored in somewhere. Stored where? In the server. Okay. Okay. So they have their, let's say Amazon backed one server, and now the server limited capability is 50 users. That means at any given point of time, it can only handle 50 users at one point of time. Okay, it cannot go beyond that. Okay, at any given point of time, it will only handle 50 users. Okay, it cannot go. So that's the limited capability of that one server. Okay, now let's say Amazon.com, right? Now, what happens, right? Let's say the people, not even just clicking this, just clicking takes lot more complicated stuff. We are just trying to, use this URL and just put into this browser. See this address bar? I'm just putting this here, just like that. Now, let's say 100 people are doing it. Okay, and again, I told you that the limited capability of the server is 50 users. Now, let's say 100 people are just not just clicking anything or doing, just using that URL and putting the web page, okay, in the address bar of the browser. Okay, now let me ask you a question. So, when 100 people are using this URL and putting it into the browser, what will be the result? Can anyone answer the question? The limited capability of a server is 50 users. Now, okay. Now I'm not even clicking these buttons. Okay, forget about these buttons and forget about this everything. What I'm trying to do is just using this URL, that www.amazon.com, and just putting into my web browser and hitting enter. And around 100 people are trying to access at the same at the same given point of time. So can anyone answer what exactly happens? What is the outcome? Anyone? So my question is, as I told you, that Amazon has bought one server, okay, and the limited capability of the server to handle is 50 users at any given point of time, okay. And my question is, what exactly happens when 100 people log into that, this URL at the same time? So what is the result of that? Okay. Okay, good. Maybe I need to keep asking, questions so that you guys will get some attention. Okay, so you guys are not really paying attention. Okay, good. Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's it gets overloaded. I mean, it's really not designed for it because because when a server says like 50 users, it cannot go beyond that. Okay, it's just 50, then that's it. Yes, system hangs, application gets crashed, application becomes slow, speed becomes overload, and all those things happen. Okay, that's right. So now, okay, now what happens is, so that's a performance, right? That's where your performance comes into the picture. What's happening when the people are logging into it, when trying to do something. Okay, so what's happening to the server. So that's very important thing. So that's the reason why we have this performance system. Okay, now let's see what happens right now. What happens right now? Let's say Amazon has bought one more server, and okay, they've bought one more server, and they use software, or this can be also the hardware. Okay, called load balancer. Okay, now this is two servers, that is 50 users plus 50 users. That's like 100 users. Okay, now there is something called in between load balancer. So what exactly this load balancer does? So let's say if you're logging into the application, 100 people are logging into it. Okay. Now what happens is, that load balancer, what it does is, now it knows that if it reaches certain amount of people, like 50 users, what that load balancer takes that remaining 50 users and put it with a different server. Okay, that's automatically they do it. That's called load balancer. That balances the load between the two servers, not just two servers. Right? There is not like two servers or three servers. I'm just explaining you in ease of convenience, but they might have million servers. Okay, Google already at the year of, I think 2012, Google had million servers. Amazon might be having more than that. Okay, I'll not be surprised. So it's not like one server or two server. They'll be having millions of servers. Okay, now each are the way they perform is individual level is little different because they are done a little bit different. But here's the thing: the point is the load balancer balances the load, no matter how many servers, no matter how it is designed, so all those things. But it balances the load. It takes the remaining users, whichever it's overload, and put it. So that's the reason you never have this application crash. So it's not like you never have, you don't get it normally. But if of course if there's no server and there is a outage, then of course you will have the application crash. Okay, so that's where our performance systems shows up. Okay, how the system is performing. So what happens, right? Whenever, okay, let's go to the slides. Okay, so this what is performance testing? There are two types. That is, one is load testing and stress testing. Okay, so what exactly is this load testing? So in this load testing, right? You want to test an application under heavy loads. Okay, so heavy loads such as testing website. Okay, so what exactly does this heavy load mean? So this heavy load means, now let's say I just took an example of 100. Now we are talking about not just 100. We will be talking about 1,000. Okay, 1,000. Okay, 10,000, 5,000, 10,000. Okay, so that amount of load. That means that many users are logging into that application at the same point of time. Okay, so. And you want to see here, so there's a lot of graphs that are already, they make the graphs that actually the tool itself creates for you. Okay, so they have like throughput graphs, what are memory usage. See what happens, right? Whenever you're trying to access something, whatever it is, whenever you're putting the URL into web page, the server takes some amount of, there's a lot of resources at the back end it consumes. Because you're trying, whenever you're trying to use this, that means you're trying to access the database, production database of that company. Okay, so this Amazon, you're trying to access the production database. Okay, why? Because all these images, all these are stored where? It has to store somewhere. It's stored in the database, not anywhere else, right? Because whenever you're trying to see this, all this is in there in the database. Okay, so now. So that's whenever you try to log into it, that means you're trying to take, the server does some work. Okay, it uses processes, it uses the processor runs fast, it uses memory. Okay, how much memory is consumed, it utilizes the RAM, how much RAM is being taken in. So a lot of things are happening at the back end. We don't know exactly. Okay, so that's what it happens when you try to do. So that's the reason you need this load testing. So you want to see under heavy loads how the application is performing. Okay, so you want to make sure the server doesn't go blown up. Okay, you don't want to blow up the server, because if that server goes, and it's really a lot of money you need to pay, and it's not the cost of money, it's cost of outage. Okay, there's a lot of outage. See, the problem is when you have large amount of outage. Let's say there was an example here. There was like Facebook. If Facebook is not available for 10 minutes, okay, let's just take, if there's an outage for Facebook, okay, if the web page is not working for 10 minutes, they have some millions of dollars of loss. Okay, they lost some millions of dollars. Okay, just for 10 minutes. We don't even go in hours, days, or something. Just for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, they lose some millions of dollars. Now, the same thing applies here. If there is an outage, Okay, it's not the problem of the hardware. Hardware, buy a server, just $1,000, just buy it, pay the price. That's not a big deal. But if there is an outage for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, the business lose more on that than just broke it up, hardware failure or something. So the outage is actually causes more loss for the company. Okay, so that's the reason we don't see this much of outage, right? Um, So there was also outage for the Gmail actually. The Gmail had like I think they had outage for just for 5 minutes, and the Gmail was not working for some reason. But it was like around 2013, and they had some really big issue, and it stopped working. Whole world, but this stopped for 5 minutes, and not just whole world. I think it's in the United States, whole United States, and. And they fixed it in 5 minutes. They fixed it. Okay, so that's how you need to see how the testing works. Okay, so that shows that they are really not good and quality. Okay, because it did not have occurred in the first place if they would have maintained that. Okay, so that's the reason all these things should be taken care. Load testing. Okay, you want to see there should not be an outage. Okay, and there should not be any application should be running most of the time. Okay, so that's load testing, and let's see what is test testing. So in simple definition for the load testing, okay, load testing what is load testing? Load testing is to find out the bottleneck of an application. Okay, to find bottleneck of an application is called load testing. And what is test testing? So in this test testing, you go beyond the load. Okay, now you go beyond the load means okay. So what does it mean? You go beyond the load. That means here not even just trying to use this URL, but also trying to click this web page. Okay, you're trying to click this button. You're trying to use this, and I know what so all this is. See, whenever you click the one button, right? Let's say if you are trying to click something here, that means this button when you click here, it's actually going into the production database, querying that particular function, and getting out the result, okay, and showing up onto your web page. So that's what it happens at the back end. So nobody is writing SQL query like select start from. Nobody is doing that. It's automatic process. Okay, SQL is actually generated at the back end. Whatever the SQL they use, Teradata SQL, MySQL, DB2 SQL, Oracle SQL, whatever SQL. Okay, that is generated automatically by the system. Once it's generated, it queries that particular database, which database is all these are stored, and once it gets queried, it pulls all the data which is there in the database and shows in front of the web page. Does it make sense? So that's what it happens at the back end. Okay, it looks simple, but at the back end, this is all what happens, and a lot of database work actually goes on automatically. Okay, nobody is using some SQL, nobody is using select select start from EMP, nobody is using. The system is actually generating for it. Whenever you click some button, that button is generates a SQL based on that, and it executes automatically in the system. And what it does, it pulls out the whole records, whatever is there in that particular database, and shows right in front of your web page. Okay, because all these images, all this has to store somewhere, right? Where does it store? Database, of course. There's no other place, right? Yeah, some people say, okay, it stores in the cloud. Okay, the cloud is again a third-party server. Okay, maybe not handling by Amazon, but somebody else. Okay, even if it is cloud, again, it's still a server. Somebody else server. Maybe not Amazon, but somebody else server, but it's still a server. Okay, so that's what it happens at the back end. Okay, so that's what is called stress testing. Okay, that means when under heavy loads like large number of storage capacity, complex database queries. Okay, complex database queries means whenever you're trying to click something, that's what it's generating queries for you. Okay, and continuous input and system to the database load. That means keep on, hundred of people, thousands of people keep on clicking those buttons, keep on, that puts stress on the server, right? It has to perform that function so fast, and it consumes a lot of memory, it consumes a lot of RAM, the server gets heats up. Okay, that's the reason they have this, air conditioning when you put in the server, because it really gets heats up fast, and heat sinks don't really, are very useful when there's large amount of, things that are happening in it. So it's really not, doesn't help in that moment. Okay, so that's what the stress testing is all about. Okay, any questions in performance testing? Okay, so let's go to the next one. So let's say you, okay, so yeah, so today's class, like, we'll go just to about the slides. We'll finish the slide and we'll talk about testing. Okay, so we'll finish this introduction. Okay, so people who missed yesterday's class, okay, send me an email. Send me an email, like, not put. Don't just put in the chat your email ID. Send me an email ID so that I add you in the classes, so that you will be, having access to the future recordings as well as previous recordings. So you can, you can also look into it. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. So, so far we are discussing about introductions. I mean, introduction, it's about testing, part of the class. Okay, so it's part of this, and it's, hopefully it will be useful. Okay, may not be in interview point of view, but it is point of a knowledge point of view. Okay, whenever you go into the system, you will have some idea saying what are various testing, how you use this kind of testing, where do you use, and how you can use efficiently to perform your work. Okay, so that's the reason all this introduction is all about. Okay, so let's go to usability testing. So here, so again, as I told you, please don't ping this chat. I'm not sure why people keep pinging in the chat. Send me an email, because the reason, because I cannot wait. It's, what, I just copy this for now, but because this will be get missed if I close this class. Okay. So most probably I'll be having email IDs from your from your manager, but if I have missed it or they have missed it, okay, you can send me. So that's the reason I said, hey, email me, because the problem is I keep getting this rejection email, because these emails, I don't know, because this is not properly sent. So that's the reason I always say, because again it gets rejected if some reason is, if your email ID doesn't have that underscore or dot, that doesn't get appropriate. That's the reason I tell you to email it rather than ping in it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, let's go to this usability testing. So what you do in the usability testing? So this is called user friendliness check. Okay. So in this user friendliness check, so what you do is how the application is. Okay, so actually I was mute, so maybe hopefully you're able to hear it now. I just mute. Okay, so I'll just mute. Okay, so user friendliness is like, you need to see if the application is user friendly. So let's take an example here. So we'll just go back to Amazon.com again. So we'll take an example. What is exactly in user friendliness here? Okay. Okay. So here is the thing. I'm a regular customer of Amazon. Let's say I'm a regular customer of Amazon. We buy a lot of things in Amazon, and I'm a customer. So what I want to see is I want to sign in, right? I want to sign in into that application, and I want to see. So whenever I try to buy, first I need to sign in because I'm a regular customer, I know. So this signing button, it's okay. Here they have integrated this button in this bar, menu bar or something. And I can sign it right here. This is the button. So this is good. This is user friendly. Now, I don't want signing button somewhere located here in the footer of the page. If there is a signing button that is here, how do I know that that is here, right? That's not user friendly. You understand what I mean? User friendly is something which should be easily accessible, easily and conveniently accessible. Even if it is sign bar, okay, which is located in footer, I don't know. This is more insignificant place, right? It should be right in front of my page, web page, right? Whenever I'm trying to buy, signing button should be right here so that I can sign it. That's called user friendly. Okay, so there are so many applications out there that are not user friendly. Why it's useful, and someone can ask me a question. So what's the big deal in this of not having user friendly? Okay, that's a very good question. Thing is, business. There's the business class. Okay. Okay, so and you don't want, because see some people, right? Okay, you know what? There's no signing button. I will not buy from here. No, I'll buy from eBay. Forget this. I don't care. Okay, so that's called user friendly. So that's why you require user friendliness, because the more user friendly you put it, the more customers you will be. You'll be attracting it, because every customer wants user friendly, right? It should be good. Whenever I want to buy, I want to. It should be good quality. So that's the reason you want to see usability testing. So how user friendly that application is. Okay. So what are you going to do in this? So here you will be checking the whole application flow, and you want to see whatever the system navigation is checked, and as per the requirements, whatever the requirements is, you will be testing on that. So that's called usability testing. Okay, let's go to the next one. Install and uninstall testing. So this is install and uninstall is more related to client applications. As we have discussed, is there are two things: web application and client application. Web application is something which you access through web browser, and client application is something you need to install in your system, right? An example is like, you can say Outlook. Okay, and once you install it, you want to see that process got successfully. Okay, not just installing means okay, just install your system. No, because there are a lot of things happen when you install this. So registry keys gets updated, new DLL files gets updated, new files show up. So a lot of things happen. So you want to see that complete installation and uninstallation work is done for any client application. Okay, based on the requirements, of course. It's all based on the requirements. You're not doing randomly. Okay, just because its install is done, I'll just do the install. No, you need to look into the requirements. It can, the requirements can be in a form of documents. It can be in form of verbal. It can be, or your lead might say it. Okay, so it's based on that. So that's called install and uninstall testing. Okay, let's move to the next one very quick. So we have recovery testing. So so this recovery testing is, let's say you have some crash. Your application gets crashed. Okay. Now how soon it gets recovered from that crash is called recovery. Okay. So to test that is called recovery testing. Okay. To testing how well a system recovers from a crash or hardware failures is called recovery testing. Okay. So let's move to this. Let's go to the next one, security testing. So here what you do is you want to see here how the system is penetrated in the hacking way. You want to test how the system is, tested in the hacking way. Here let's take an example here. So let's say there is, let's go to, this is google.com, right? So here, whenever you're using, here they use HTTPS. Okay, so what is this HTTP? So this is called Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Okay, this HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. S means secure. Okay, Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure. So why do we need this exactly? So why? The reason you have HTTPS means whenever you're trying to do something online, let's say you're trying to make a credit card transaction. So whenever you're trying to make a credit card transaction, you want to make sure it's an HTTP, not an HTTP. I never make transactions on HTTP. Why? Because whenever you're using HTTP, there are a lot of hackers around the world which can take the information, let's say your credit card number, your date of birth, your social security number, and all those things, and use it against you. Okay, so that's the reason. So what exactly it performs? So what it does is it encrypts whatever information you're trying to put. Even if you put some credit card number, it encrypts it. They have some algorithm. Okay, they have that algorithm. It encrypts your number into some random alphabet or some random alphanumeric or some special characters, which can only be decrypted at the server point of view. Okay, when it gets the end client, it is only decrypted at that point of time. Even if any hacker uses it, it's almost useless because they don't know what kind of algorithm, they don't know how to decrypt it. So that's the point. It will be useless for them. Okay, so that's the reason you need this. So to test it, to test this kind of thing is called security testing. Okay, this was just an example of taking HTTPS. It's not just only HTTPS testing. It's called security testing. Okay, it's one of the example for HTTPS. Okay. So here what you do in security testing is you want to see how the system can be penetrated by any hacking way. Let's move to the next one. So this is called compatibility testing. So here what you want to do is, you want to see here, is it application is compatible with different operating systems? Is it compatible with different hardware? Like, okay, is it compatible with Mac? Is it compatible with Linux? It is compatible with Windows, Unix, so on. So that's called compatibility testing. Is it compatible with other operating system or hardware? Okay. Then you have this comparison testing. Comparison testing is like comparing the two products, strength and weakness. Okay. So this is different from sanity testing. I know the sanity testing is a two, it's kind of version testing. Here comparison is between the two products. Okay, similar products. For example, let's take an example here. Okay, it can be same version of a let's say one Google Chrome. Google Chrome is a browser. Okay, Chrome, and once you have the setup file, previously they used to have a setup file. Okay, these days they don't have setup file. You directly, once you have internet, it automatically gets installed. But so what happens is if you use the, you're comparing the same version with the two different, let's say it was designed for, one is designed for Windows, or other designed for the, different operating system. You want to compare the two products. That's called comparison testing. Okay. So let's go to the next one, alpha testing. So what happens in this alpha testing is, Okay, so what happens in alpha testing is once the development is completed, let's say developer has completed, right? Completed the development of the system. Oh, I'm sorry, completed the development of an application. Okay, the complete coding has been done. So they will try to do the alpha testing. They'll test. Okay, not unit testing. Okay, this is at the end of the normally the end of this development cycle. Once, but before reaching to the QA, it's normally it's not doesn't reach to the QA. Okay, but normally in most of the companies this is done by the developers. Okay, but you don't have to be specific to the developers. It can be any business analyst, it can be QA guys, it can be developer, it can be architect, it can be scrum master, it can be your boss, whoever is trying to do can do alpha testing. Okay, but normally it's done at the end of the development. Okay, now let's talk about this beta testing. So what happens in the beta testing is once everything is done, whole QA is done and regression is done, performance done. Now what the company wants to do is they release the product into the market. And then they'll not release the complete product. They'll release some demo application. And tell the users in the whole world to, why don't you do this testing and send us the defects we fix in the release. So that's called beta testing. That means this is open to the whole world. Beta testing is normally open to the whole world. I mean, even in the whole world, it's like they sometimes they take specific users based on the skills and based on the way they use the software. Okay, and they do the beta testing. So before releasing the product into the market, they make sure that all this testing is done, all the beta testing specifically is done, then they release the product. Okay, that's called beta testing. Any questions so far? So so somebody asked, right? So some beta testing is for everything. Beta testing is for I didn't say for everything because it's like limited application. Okay, they'll send you an application. So and then they'll tell every user to do the testing. So it's like the user will be accessing it. You will be doing a lot of things, and if they find any defects, they tell you to open the report this. Okay, so it's not for no. So beta testing is completely different. So all other testing is different. Beta testing. So here's the thing. In simple terms, what exactly is the beta testing is consumers do this testing. Let's put in layman's language. Beta testing is performed by the people, general people, ordinary people, not by any corporate people, not by any developers, not by testers, not by business analysts, not by CEO, no, nothing. It's done by the people who will be using the software, okay, who actually uses the software, those guys will be doing beta testing, okay, and it's completely different from all other testing, nothing to do with any other testing. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so if no questions, so let's move to our we'll start a new topic. Okay, so here let's say you gone into project. Okay, so you're into the project and it's been one day. You have reviewed a lot of documents and a lot of documents have been given to you. Okay, and you are, let's say your lead says up, hey, you know what? Why don't you start the testing here? Okay. Now, somehow you got this information, okay, on what you're trying to test. Let's say this is the application, web application, and you need to test this. Now, you're not going to ask your lead what I need to test. Okay, that's really not a valid question. Remember this. No matter how many years of experience you have, no matter what your, what is your position, no matter what you're not going to say what are you going to test, because that's really, they are not going to say it. That's what you have to do it. Okay, that's your job. They are not telling you your job what to do. Okay. Now, let's say this is what you can ask question is what are various types of we are involving and what are various testings we will be going to do and how is the later stage. Is it agile? Is it waterfall? So you'll get a brief idea of what is supposed to do. Okay, but you're not really asking it what I'm going to test. Okay, that's really not a valid question. Okay, so now you got this, so let's figure it out. Okay, so you thought this application, okay, this is good. And click on this button. Okay, now found out, okay, this is a retail company. Okay, good. And what you're trying to do is let's start testing here. Let's start testing here. So what I'll do is I'll just put some value here, place an order, and so this is what it shows up. Okay, just click on this, and you're filling up this information here. And check mark this and click on prefer. Okay, great. So I just placed an order. Okay. Now this is my billing address and this is my shipping address. Okay. So my question to you guys is, did you guys found any defects? Anyone? So I just placed an order here. Can anyone say, did you guys able to find any defects? And if not, why? Why not? Anyone?
I think there is no defect.
I'm sorry, you didn't get any defect? So technically we didn't do anything. Okay, so there is no reason, to get a defect because we just went too fast and we really didn't do anything here. We just placed an order here, okay? And you didn't even analyze this, what's happening, okay? So technically we didn't do anything here. We just placed some order which is good and you thought this is good and you passed the test case and there will be a production issue at the end of the day. So you don't want to happen that, okay? So really, to be honest, we didn't do anything. We just placed an order, that's it. And that application, of course, any application in the whole world will be look same. You don't know what exactly the issue is. Now here, here we are going to find an issue. Okay, let's analyze it. One after the other. Let's analyze it. Okay, so let's say I want to try to use this application, which is this web page. Okay, and now let's say here's the thing. Before performing this testing, first you need to understand is there are three types of scenarios you need to come up. What are the scenarios? Positive scenario, negative scenario, and boundary values. Okay, let's talk in detail on this. What is the positive scenario? Positive scenario is something which is here. Let's take an example. Order quantity. Quantity is an always number. Positive scenario will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so on. That's a positive scenario. Now let's do something called negative scenario. Negative scenario is other than the numbers. Okay, just like negative digits or alphabets. That's really not Okay, not you should not use it because quantity cannot be in alphabets. Okay, and the next one is boundary values. Boundary values is like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and so on. Okay. Now let's try this. Let's see this. We'll try this for a large quantity here. This is a positive scenario. We are just talking about positive, positive values. We'll take a defect only in positive for now. Okay. Now I'm trying to order all this quantity. See this is the large quantity, and I'm trying to order this. Let's click on place and order. Okay, great. So I'm ordering this large quantity here, which is the too long quantity, and this is my total price. Okay, can anyone find some issue here? There's a defect here in this web page, right in front of your eyes. Can anyone find out what's the defect?
Handling, price,
Price,
shipping and handling.
shipping and handling. Okay. Anything else? Total price. Okay, somebody said total price. Okay, I would agree with that because the tax, how the tax is calculated, I don't know because Delaware, is this Delaware, Texas or Delaware? They don't have this tax. Okay, Delaware doesn't have tax. So if you're buying this Delaware, there's no tax really. Okay. Yeah, it's a Delaware, right, or Texas? Okay, either way. In one or two states you don't have sales tax there. This is called sales tax, and so okay, so that's one thing. Okay, so that's a good point. Total price. Okay, so I would agree with the total price because if you are buying in Delaware, this tax is not applicable, so that's ruled out. Any other things? Any other defects you guys are able to find out? Okay, two things. One is sales tax, one is shipping. Anything else? Okay, so that's right. Shipping and handling fee, this cannot be $5 because when you're trying to order these large quantities, even let's say even the company ships and USPS. Okay, let's say this, ship it to USPS. Even if you ship at USPS don't charge $5 for these many quantities. The quantity gets increased, this shipping and handling fee also gets increased. Okay, so that's a different story. That company will offer this for free because you have about $200, more than $200, or more than $100 shipping is free. Okay, that's a different story. They will offer that price. If not, okay, this value is incorrect. You can never have $5 for these very large quantities. It's a perfect defect. Okay, does everyone agrees with that? Does anyone have any questions? That still you'll be paying just $5 for these many quantities because this quantity increases, shipping increases. Of course, it's proportional. Okay, so okay, good. And also sales tax. If you're buying this in Delaware, this really doesn't make sense because you're not paying sales tax in Delaware. Okay, and let's go to this proceed with order. Okay, so this is the defect. Okay, this is the defect. Shipping and handling fee. Okay, So we have just found one defect. Okay, that's not just one defect. We'll just find more two defects here. Okay, we'll just find many defects. Okay, so let's use, instead of this order. So that was positive scenario. We use the positive number to find the defect. Now we can also use negative values here, just like using other than numbers. Let's put A. This doesn't work here. Let's use Firefox for this. So here, instead of numbers, what I'm trying to do is put some random, put some alphabets here, A. Now this is not a valid number. This is not even a number, it's an alphabet. Okay. Now I'm just putting here and clicking on paste and order. So this is giving an error. That's good. It's giving me error. Now once I click the second time, it's taking this. Now this is an error. I'm sorry, this is a defect. Okay. Quantity A and to be shipped is $0 and grand total $5. Okay, that doesn't make any sense because you're not getting product, and why are you paying this $5 anyway? Okay, so that is a negative scenario defect. Does it make sense to everyone? Okay, so this is negative scenario, and we'll go back here. We'll just put this. So you can also take for this as boundary values, like let's say 0.001. Click on OK. So please enter only digits in the field. Okay. But the moment I click on that and click OK, it's going in the next page. That's a real defect because you're not allowed to go to the next page. Okay. Because it's really not a valid number, right? So that's a defect. So it shows up. So you're shipping 0.001. And you can the order quantity cannot be in decimal values, right? It has to be numbers 1, 2, 3. So this is a bug. Okay, so this is a bug for boundary values. Okay, so I'll be giving you homework on this. Okay, make sure you guys do the homework. Okay, and just don't come up with the homeworks what values are set. Okay. Now you guys will say, okay, no, I'll put just here as a number, and I'll put it this all as same. Okay, it's all same. Whatever I told you, you need to come up with the different defects. There are a lot of more defects you can find. Okay. Okay. So let me give one more example. One more example for to understand better. So now this 3% don't end. Let me click on that. Now this has some information here. 3% don't end. In stock it says 23. Okay. If it says in stock 23, then it cannot accept the values more than 23. Does it make sense to everyone? If it is only 23, then a company cannot. They have the item backlog. That means you cannot go beyond 23. If you put 23, that's the max number it can accept. Now, but let's see, I'm putting in 100 and I'm placing this order and it's taking this order. once you proceed here, and place the order. Now you see this. This has limited value of 23. Now customer will only be getting 23, and he paid for 100. Okay, total 100 price. Now what happens, right? They only gets 23, and customer gets, he say, hey, what's going on? When I paid like for 100 quantity and I'm getting 23, what's wrong with this? So they'll call customer care, and they will have a, they'll have a lot of argument on that, and so there'll be a lot of lawsuits and a lot of things if customer care is not good. So all these things, business gets hurt. So that's the reason, we need to make sure the quality is good of the application. Okay. Okay, so this is another defect. I hope everyone is able to understand. Look at this in stock. It clearly says that stock is only 8. If you want to order more than that, then that goes into backlog item, and they cannot ship that item. So that's a very good question. Somebody brought up with a question, right? That what if you're a Prime member of Amazon and the shipping is really free? Okay, so that's a very good question. Okay, so in that case, the shipping and handling should be shown as free here. Okay, not just $5. Okay, whatever the amount you're buying. Okay, when you log in into it, the system has to recognize that that you are a Prime customer, not not ordinary customer. So the system has to recognize it, and just put here free because because you're a Prime customer from Amazon, and they'll not charge you for shipping. So in that case, you need to make sure that it should be free here, and the bill doesn't get added up for this. Okay, that's how it should be. Any more questions? So if again, this thing, that's that brought up a really good. Somebody brought that question really good, but that really becomes more and more complex. Once you do this, because sometimes even if you are having handling and shipping, still Prime customer still shows some amount. So that is really defect. Everyone knows that that's a defect. Okay, you need to open that as a defect. But if you are a customer, or if you're really having it, you need to call the customer care and resolve that issue. Okay, because there are a lot of issues in the production itself. Trust me, not everything gets fixed. Okay, not everything gets fixed. So if you are a real guy and you're real purchasing it, so you're a real customer, and you get this shipping, then you need to call customer care and fix it, because of course they will be having a lot of issues in production itself. Okay, those systems are not perfect. Okay, so yeah, that's right. So now I'll be giving you homework. Make sure you guys do the homework. Okay. Though you have 3 buttons, you have all this. Okay, 3 buttons. Look into the 3 buttons. Okay. For each web page has its own functionality, and try to figure it out. Bugs here. Okay. Now the issues should be based on your knowledge and observation skills, not what I have told in the class. Just don't previous batches, most of the people, okay, few people of course done good, they use really their observation skills. Here you need to use your observation skills, okay. Now just because I told, okay, what, it's not supposed to accept alphabet. So what people came up is, no, okay, we put just B, because I told in the class A, no, you're coming with B, so this is not really creative work. You need to be more innovative when you're, doing your work. I don't want all these scenarios from you guys, okay? Saying that, no, what, in class you only told A, no, we are putting B, this is a different defect. So please don't come up for such scenarios. You need to be really innovative on coming up with defects. Trust me, there are a lot of more defects than I know. Okay, if you can work it out properly, then I also will be knowing, okay, this is a defect I never knew. Okay. Okay. Okay, does it make sense to everyone? Just don't come up with the same things what I have told you. Okay, just you need to be more innovative in working on your homework. Okay, there's a lot more defects you can see right in front of your pages. You can find out. Now again, we don't have any requirement for this. Of course, you cannot come up with some defect saying that, no, this image is in the right side, it should be left side. No, I'm not saying that, because you really don't have to come up with such kind of things, because we don't have requirements, we don't have documents. So when we don't have that, you need to be very much creative in finding out issues. Okay, because most of the time your skills are more dependent on observation skills. Okay, how much observe you do the system, okay, that better you can find the difference. Does it make sense? Now, if you want, so already given you four defects, right? If you want, if I can give you one more defects of finding it more of innovative one, but but you guys come up with tomorrow, because it's better, you guys find out where exactly the issues rise up. Any questions? And also make sure, you can go each and every URL to find what is looking and what is something wrong here, what is not. Okay. Oops. I have one more minute. Okay. And you go through this. This is a different URL. Once you click on this, it goes to a different URL. Okay. And try to look each and everything. Don't miss anything. You'll find a good defects without copying my you cannot just say that, okay, no, you said A, now we are going to Z, now this is a new defect. No, I don't approve such kind of defects, because all this relates the same issue. Whatever the issue the developer has, actually these are all same. If you put A, B, C, D or negative values, all these are same actually. Okay. So please be more creative in finding the issues. If you are not creative, then it becomes really hard for you, because observation skills are very much required when you are opening defects. And you have all these things. What is required? All the URLs. This is the URL. This is all these are available for you. And next, you can also go to the next page here too. Okay, you can find here any issues if you can find. And here's a lot of information, so you might get plenty of issues here. Okay, because it's a lot of fields, a lot of static text. Okay, so Now, just one more thing I want to explain before. There is a hairline difference between the feature and bug. Okay, the feature is something which you request, to the business analyst. Normally, business analyst saying that, hey, you know what, this doesn't exist, but I'm requesting it. This is not there in the documents. There's not there in requirements. There's not there in application. We're requesting it for the for the convenience of the people. Okay, so that's called feature. And bug is something which doesn't exist in the application but does exist in I'm sorry, bug is something which, some feature which is not there in the application but is there in the requirement. Okay, there's a requirement which you are looking and you're trying to find this issue, and you suddenly found an issue because it doesn't matches with the requirements. There's a requirement and you don't. So that's called bug. Okay, and feature is something which doesn't exist in both of them, neither in the application, not in the requirements, not in the verbal too. Nobody told you. Okay, so that this is so that's called feature. Okay. Okay, if no one have any questions, can we close this class for today? Okay, thank you guys.